Let me introduce you to your inner critic. You know, that voice, the one that tells you you're not good enough, the one that reminds you of every mistake, every failure, and every moment that you wish you could take back. That voice that says, you should have done better. You're behind. You are always messing things up. Nobody really believes in you. That voice can be loud, sometimes so loud that it feels like it's the truth. But here's what I need you to understand. Your inner critic is not your truth. It is often the voice of old pain, old fear, old survival patterns, and old wounds trying to protect you in the wrong way. Your inner critic does more than create negative thoughts. It directly affects your emotions. When that voice constantly tells you that you're not enough, not worthy, or not doing enough, it creates emotional weight. It can lead to anxiety, self-doubt, shame, guilt, frustration, and even depression. The inner critic fuels overthinking. It makes you question yourself, replay conversations, fear rejection, and expect failure before you even begin. It can make small mistakes feel huge. It can turn one bad moment into a belief that you are the problem. Over time, if that voice goes unchecked, it can damage your self-confidence, your relationships, and your ability to trust yourself. Many people think that they're just being too hard on themselves. But what's really happening is emotional exhaustion caused by constant internal criticism. You cannot heal in an environment where your mind constantly attacks you. That is why learning to challenge the inner critic and strengthening your inner coach is not just positive thinking, it's emotional protection. Imagine watching a movie about yourself, and the entire movie is focused on the worst case scenario. Every fear, every mistake, every possible thing that could go wrong. Instead of changing the channel, pausing the movie, or reminding yourself that it's only one version of the story, you keep rewinding it over and over again. You replay the same scenes, the same worries, the same negative thoughts. What if I fail? What if they leave? What if I'm not enough? What if everything falls apart? That is what unhelpful thinking patterns do. Your inner critic feeds off of unhelpful thinking patterns. They keep your mind stuck on fear instead of facts. They convince you that the worst case scenario is the most likely outcome. And the longer you replay that mental movie, the more real it feels. Your body responds with anxiety, your emotions respond with fear, and your inner critic uses fear as evidence that the story must be true. But here's the truth. Just because your mind plays it doesn't mean it is reality. Sometimes healing means learning to stop rewinding the worst parts of your story and choosing to rewrite a new ending. You do not have to keep watching the same painful movie. You have the power to change the channel. Meet your inner coach, You know, that kind voice inside your mind that's completely the opposite from your inner critic. The inner coach helps you to observe your thoughts instead of absorbing them. It teaches you to pause and ask, is this thought true? Or is this fear talking? Instead of automatically believing every negative thought, your inner coach helps you to recognize those thoughts for what they really are. Unhelpful thinking patterns, not facts. The inner coach helps you to put those thoughts on trial. You examine the evidence, you challenge the lies, and you question the things that you assume. Is this really true? Am I catastrophizing? Am I being too hard on myself? What would I say to someone who was going through the similar situation? Would I say this to someone I love? Your inner coach helps you to sort through the mental clutter. It treats it like junk mail. Not every thought deserves your attention. Not every thought deserves your beliefs. Some thoughts need to be opened and examined. Some need to be challenged. And some need to be thrown straight in the trash. Because peace begins when you stop accepting every negative thought as truth and start choosing what deserves space in your mind. I want to ask you a few questions for our Take 10 challenge. What thoughts have you been accepting as truth that needs to be put on trial? What mental junk mail have you been holding on to that needs to be thrown away? Have you been listening more to your inner critic or your inner coach? Take 10 minutes today. Pause and reflect on the conversation happening inside your mind. Ask yourself, is this thought helping me grow or is it keeping me stuck? Is this truth or just fear wearing a familiar voice? Because healing begins when you stop automatically believing every single negative thought and start choosing peace, truth, and self-compassion. Your challenge this week is simple. Notice the thought, challenge the thought, and change the story.
Thanks for taking 10 with me and I reflect.